a true leader, when something this obvious, would say, you know what? I'm concerned and I'm going to be dealing with this. But as Adrienne mentioned, that would be too mature for the current occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But let's get into initial thoughts on this, the reaction.
Mr. President, your reaction to the story in The Atlantic that said that some of your top cabinet officials and aides had been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic reporter for that. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know nothing about it. You're saying that they had what?
They were using Signal to coordinate on sensitive materials and
having to do with what? Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
With the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis? Right. Well, it couldn't have been very effective because the attack was very effective. I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time.
So we're really in trouble. The president knows nothing about this, okay? What were they talking about? Well, it wasn't March Madness. There were war plans, okay? And just because the enemy didn't get a hold of them doesn't mean that it's a huge success. But this is what we're dealing with here. Once Trump figured out the huge mistake his team made, he then fell back to his usual strategy, which is, of course, to attack the media. And if it is a failing publication, The Atlantic, which the reports are it's not, it's growing. You would think that he would not like that you just gave him a huge gift. He might win a prize for this and be decorated throughout the print industry for this kind of reporting. But there you have it. Trump says, and Elon says, best place to hide a dead body is page 2 of the Atlantic magazine because no one ever goes there because you said so. No one's buying Teslas right now. That's what he should be concerned with. Then you have the White House lying that war plans weren't sent in the chat. You have the press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. Okay, Jeffrey Goldberg is well known for the sensationalist spin. Here are the facts about this latest story. No war plans were discussed. We've read the story. The administration has acknowledged it is a true text chain from Signal. War plans were discussed. Except last Atlantic article, nobody was texting war plans, but you were. The reporter from Fox here has pushed back on this and said that there were war plans in the chat. And then there's the right-wing media who is either downplaying or saying this is a good thing. Remember, these are the same people screaming about these damn emails, as Bernie Sanders said, Hillary Clinton's emails. So listen to this.
They are obsessed with an accidentally leaked text, a chain from Trump cabinet officials who are debating the merits of military strikes in Yemen.
National Security Advisor Mike Waltz accidentally added a reporter to the group text, and not a good reporter. Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic, one of the biggest hoax artists around. Well, he heard some things he probably shouldn't have, but could have been a wee bit of a security breach.
But the bigger takeaway for me is it's an insight, a transparent insight into the thought process and dialogue of our national leaders. If you look at the actual content of what was reported, if you look at how they discuss potential strikes on Houthis in Yemen, what you will see is dialogue in a very collaborative, open, honest, team-based attempt to come to the right decision after years of secrecy and incompetence. If you read the content of these messages, I think you'll come away proud that these are the leaders making these decisions in America.
If you read the classified information on the text, I'm no lawyer. You are, Adrienne, but he just kind of admitted everything they're trying to push back against, okay? I want you to weigh in and then I'll give you the rest because of course there's hearings underway.
Yes. Okay. So that last gentleman there was Will Kane, and he is also a lawyer. And I used to work with him at ESPN, and I always had a great experience working with him. An extremely smart guy. I do not know how he got through that segment without just busting up laughing. I swear, the next thing Will was about to say was that, hey, they spelled everything right, and there was correct punctuation. And I really think that these leaders deserve a round of applause. Get out of here! Are you kidding? These individuals who are high-level government government officials were using this unsecured platform even though Signal is quite secure, but inviting people in, which is also part of the problem, to discuss war plans. This is absolutely insane. And also, think about the fact that this is going to impact people's lives over in Yemen. The thought of being bombed and that uncertainty, at least if you are going to be this warmongering force that is the United States, that you could at least be respectful in how you do business when you discuss it. So it's not running up on the streets of the Atlantic. It's not only disrespectful, it's sloppy, it's messy, and I have no respect for it. I can't give out points just because they use proper spelling and punctuation.
Well, I'm glad you know Attorney Kane, and that gives me great. I'm sure you've had to argue some things in court. I mean, you can only deal with what the client, I guess, gives you, okay? And you gotta lawyer it up and dress it up and make lipstick or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's tough. We should tell you, Tulsi Gabbard, the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, they speaking to the Senate, so they'll answer for it, or they'll say, we can't talk about it, it's classified. Well, then why was it on the text chain, on Signal, whatever. Donald Trump, meantime, claiming he has faith in his national security advisor, but we'll see how long that lasts. See the headlines, he's standing by him, saying he's a good guy, he's learned a lesson. That's exactly what we want at the top, okay? CIA director, learning lessons on the job about how you don't, you shouldn't even put your bracket. I'll give you the last word, but I don't think they should put their March Madness brackets on there, because perhaps the enemy will say, oh, they'll be busy watching this game. They high interest in this one. Am I wrong?
You know what? You're not wrong as it concerns this administration. It's just a hell of a thing to have seen them basically upend the careers of so many accomplished, talented individuals who were nonpartisan and that were there simply to protect or respect the Constitution. And then, use this whole facade of DEI when it's clear that these individuals that have been installed into this position are completely and totally not only unprepared and unqualified, but just untrustworthy. I wouldn't give these people a dime and expect anything to be protected at the end of the day. It's pathetic and it's unfortunate. And it really does tell these other countries out here that we are very, very penetrable.
Very. Yeah, I wouldn't let this cast of characters look after my two little dogs. I don't particularly care for them much. They bark, they yap all the time. They're my daughter's dogs. But I don't want harm to come to them. I want them to be well when we return. I wouldn't have them do any of that because you can't trust them, and they're damn sure not going to tell the truth afterwards if something goes wrong.